Warning: this program is intended for adults of legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed in disgust. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
I am, as always, joined by my co-host, Mr. Andrew Pierce.
Hey, that's me. I also, little known fact, fucking love whiskey. And today we are joined with our muted friend here, Timothy Meyer, a pro DM. This is amazing. Welcome, Timothy.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. But I have a question. I don't know if I fucking love whiskey. Is that okay? Am I allowed to be here?
I think we're going to explore where you stand on that spectrum.
On the whiskey, controversy. Okay.
It's the perfect time to find out, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you both for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here.
And you said pro DM, but I just want to say that's professional Dungeon Master.
Yes.
That is jargon to most people. Pro DM means nothing.
Professional Dungeon Master, which Dungeon Master also being jargon for someone who runs a Dungeons and Dragons game. And that's what I do for a living. And I'm here to drink whiskey.
And also other systems, right?
Not just. And I would also say Dungeons and Dragons is like the elephant in the room. There are many other role-playing games.
Tons of them, yes.
Which Timothy plays. So.
It's a branding thing for sure, right? To say pro DM. But yes, there's all kinds of RPGs I love to play, and I can't wait to talk to these two about it. It's gonna be fun.
Excellent. Well, if you're looking at us on the videos here, you can see in the corner down there we've got the approximate times we're going to be tasting these various whiskeys and the order in which we're going to be tasting them. A lot of people at home are playing the home game, so they'll be typing along in the chat and tasting along with us.
These are all accessible, affordable whiskeys today, so you can drink along with us if you have prepared. These are things that you don't have to be, a member of SMWS to get them. So,
this is a cheap shit. Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily cheap, but
affordable,
reasonable.
It's reasonably priced, and it doesn't mean it's bad. And that's what we're going to be playing with today. So first off is this old Pulteney 12-year-old from the Highlands. It's 40%, $45 at K&L. K&L Wines, who are not a sponsor, but come on, they should be.
They should be. We buy a lot of stuff there.
At this point.
Ooh, interesting. It's quite accessible.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little coastal funk in here, like something.
I just noticed that Thaddeus was deleting notes from last week as we popped in. I noticed it. They were like, these notes are from the previous week. I'm gonna get down to negative. I fucking love whiskeys for that. I'm sure for noticing that.
I mean, you guys have these very sophisticated opinions. Like someone in chat is like, I get a rain-swept Scottish coast, and I guess. Maybe they're just more worldly than I, but like, what does the Scottish coast smell like? Is this what it smells like?
It definitely smells coastal.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it could be an Oregon coast too. I feel like it's a coast. It's like a cold coast.
It's like a Pacific Northwest kind of climate. Yeah.
It's got a lot of wet stone.
Ooh.
Yeah, and also like rot. Like there's a bit of rot in there, or like
mossy kind of rainforest, like temperate rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm there now. I see it. It went like in my nose initially, and I was just like reeling for a second. But yeah, I'm getting
it does tend to build.
Oh, that's great. No, it's good. I was like, can I smell it? Yes, I can smell it. Let's hear it.
It's a bit of like saltiness in this. I am like I smell something like just like straight up like I don't know what it is, but it's almost like the smell of salt itself. Like
okay.
Salted waterlogged logs.
Salted water logs.
Water logs.
Like it could almost be like a salted caramel or something, but it's like more salt than caramel. Like
it doesn't quite smell sweet. I'm not getting any like.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite smell sweet. In October in Speyside, Oregon, says Geek Filter. Yeah, I see that.
Huh.
Oh. Quite.
Oh yeah.
Almost like a spongy bread in the finish.
Yeah, the finish really lasts longer than I expected. It has like there's kind of more in the finish than there is in the upfront, almost.
I feel we should let Timothy.
Yeah, I got the smoke, like for sure. Did you guys get any smoke like that? Maybe that's really normal for whiskey. Being a total whiskey virgin, I'm not aware, but like I got that campfire like right away, and now it's kind of settling down a little bit.
Boy, are you
Yeah.
gonna get surprises later on.
I'm sure this is like the babyest shit imaginable. And I'm like, there's like a smokiness to it. And you guys are,
Well, I mean, we're pretty desensitized. to
Right.
smoke.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just coming in the door and it's like, oh, so it sort of tastes like it was aged in a barrel, right? You know what I mean? That kind of shit.
Oh yeah, smoked honey in the finish.
Okay.
That's-
Yeah.
A little bit of licorice. Yeah, there's a little bit of that in there.
Basil, I agree. It felt like a dragon. That's how I felt in that moment. Exactly. You know, your dungeon may vary, but dragon for sure.
Yeah, so if I was going to build a dungeon, I'm going to build dungeons in these whiskeys. I think that's appropriate because we have Timothy on the show.
Yeah, I love this. Let's do it.
So the dungeon that I would build in this whiskey is probably like, I think it might be like, I'm going to go back to old school TSR modules. As this is like,
Right.
This is like, I think it's like a low level dungeon.
Right.
Probably like keep on the Borderlands. I think that's
I could see that. So,
is.
so you want to pick established dungeons and tie them because that's interesting.
I'm trying it.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the Moat House from Temple of Elemental Evil, which is like a very kind of wet, like, you know, mossy. You know, Andrew, the Moat House. You remember?
Of course. Yeah,
we all remember.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I think you're right, Timothy. I think this is definitely Temple of Elemental Evil. For sure.
But certain areas of it would had a very like dank kind of like kudzu sort of vibe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, it's a dungeon near water. Maybe there's water.
Mm-hmm.
There's a water like features within the dungeon.
Oh, for sure.
Know?
It's like partially flooded, right? You know, some of the mechanisms don't work anymore. They're all rusted out.
Kobolds, sure.
Kobolds, sure. I'm trying to think what's like a good low level. I think ghouls feels right to me. Like that's very like.
No, this is like too weak for ghouls to me.
Too weak.
I feel like ghouls are the sort of thing that can wipe out a low level party.
That's true.
If you run into them.
That's true.
I think kobolds is the way to go. This to me is kobolds.
Yeah,
it's like it's spicy, but you're gonna. It's
like baby's first dungeon, right? Like you're gonna go and fight it, but you're gonna feel like a big hero. It's actually, you know. Okay, I dig that. I'm into it.
I took down a couple of kobolds.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a couple of D&D nerds in here.
In the chat as well. They're all.
I think more than a couple.
Oh, dude, Geek Filter referenced the old animated. I've never seen that show, and like I think that's a big blind spot for me. The old cartoon, the animated cartoon. Have either of you seen that?
Go to the portal.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Man, I gotta watch it because it's like a big part of our culture. You know.
Hey, Major Paul.
What's up, Paul?
We should science this, I guess, but I'm going to say it's probably like it's so low in alcohol content. Like I don't know that it's going to.
Okay.
But it's worth trying. I think
It's worth trying, and you know I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have no problem sciencing all of these. Although
Basil,
I don't think I've ever
100% Basil Dankhill. I agree. You should. So I'm out of glasses, so I had to resort to my goblet. This is my water.
Well, that's
all I have left. So I'm falling back to the goblet. So we're gonna do science.
We did a little science. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I feel like it's more funky to me. It smells a bit more funky.
Yeah, I think
I get more of that decay.
Knocked to the side there.
Yeah, less of the salt, more of the decay.
That's why I was like ghouls. Okay.
Yeah, this is more low-level undead than kobolds now.
That's what I was thinking, you know?
Maybe zombies or skeletons.
Right.
I still think it's not quite ghouls, but we'll see.
I think it's like a ghoul, right? Like that's like the big, oh no, there's one ghoul, you know? Exactly, yeah. You've got 4 hit points, you're a wizard, you know, it's rough.
Will the goblet affect the whiskey palate? I don't know.
It very well might. I don't know, you know, how whiskey interacts with the like crappy tin of this goblet that I got in 8th grade, but we'll find out.
Not a fan with the water.
No, it lost the honey in the smokiness, and now it's just kind of like.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's because Timothy said tin, but it's kind of like smoky metal.
I got the same thing, and the Tipsy Asparagus is saying metallic. Yeah, because that's the first thing I was gonna say is this tastes like water that's been sitting too long in a metal container or something.
Right.
It's
non-potable kind of thing. Yeah.
I gotcha. This is a no with water. Absolutely not.
Okay.
This is like skeletons with rusty swords. That's what this is.
Right.
I'm going with this. I love this angle of like every whiskey's gonna.
I think that's cool. Yeah, it has somebody mentioned Morkborg earlier. It has a Morkborg feel for sure. That's a very Morkborg dungeon to me. Like this wet and dank and like, you know, rattling
I
bones.
feel like
and
Morkborg is like all dungeons though. Like it's, you know what I mean? To
That's
me, it's
true.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like this is the essence of all dungeonness, you know?
Right.
So.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, very classic, like old school TSR. Have I ever incorporated whiskey into my adventures? You know, I did. This might not be accurate whiskey knowledge. I'm gonna ask the whiskey mancers over here if they know better than I. How flammable is whiskey? Is it pretty flammable?
It's you have to get up over something like 80% before it comes flammable.
Okay, so then I misused it, but in a recent game I was running for some of my younger clients, I have these. Oh, go for it. You got something?
But I mean, when they barrel the whiskey, it can be up in that range. It can be like 76%.
Oh, okay.
Like that. So
then,
plus, if you think of like a medieval society, like they might not be drinking the whiskey, they might not be watering it down, or you might have access to it, you know, at a higher, you know, it might be more like moonshine.
Plausible, yeah, more like moonshine. It's plausible that, you know, if someone doesn't take the top cut out and the stuff that's actually poisonous makes you blind.
So like dwarves, right? Like they're known for their like super strong brews. They're not likely to water it down. So I had an instance where the characters were exploring a dungeon. Relatively, these are young players. These are like 10-year-olds, right? And they come into like a whiskey storeroom, and it's all these barrels of dwarven whiskey that are stacked up in a pyramid, 50 barrels. And one of these barrels is a mimic, right? So for those of you who don't know D&D, mimics are shape-shifting monsters that take the form of ordinary items. And so they fought a couple of other creatures. They fought the mimic. The mimic retreated back into the room full of barrels and took the shape of a barrel. And one of the characters like, screw it, I'm going to throw one of my like, they had like explosive kind of Molotov cocktails like into the room. And I was like, well, it's full of 50 barrels of dwarven whiskey. Like the room explodes. I mean, it explodes. You like threw an like a piece of dynamite in there, and it like leveled the whole level of the dungeon, and it nearly killed the entire party. And it was like, they had the moment like, whiskey is flammable. I'm like, I think it's flammable, and it just boom. It was this massive explosion. So yeah, I have recently done it. They escaped, but it was a near thing for sure.
I think that's a plausible series of events.
That's kind of
Any whiskey over 50% should be flammable.
Right.
Yeah, don't you like, because if you go to like a restaurant and they make you like a Spanish coffee or something, they'll light it on fire.
They light it on fire, was what I was thinking.
So a lot of high, you know, it might not like explode, but it would definitely burn, I would think. Right,
yeah. I mean, so, you know, it's artistic license. Like, you know, obviously it's what would happen in the movie version of it, right? But yeah, it was one of those moments of, oh God, we might all die, you know, which is, I think, very pivotal for like a beginning Dungeons and Dragons experience of a small minor action can have huge consequences. Like, yeah, that's really big.
Also a good life lesson. I think that's awesome.
we didn't think about it, but now the DM is thinking about it. And
sure. Exactly. And that's true, of course, across all TTRPGs. That's just my example. That's where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And I would say, because there was, have I ever incorporated whiskey into your adventures? Not, I think like probably from a lot of Call of Cthulhu, like, you know, the players would always go to speakeasies. And I generally, when I'm DMing, like with friends at home, will drink whiskey. I like to have a little whiskey while I'm DMing.
I mean, I think it makes sense if you're like inserting your own interests and stuff into the game, right? If you're a whiskey head, like your characters are going to be whiskey heads too on some level, right? Yeah.
I mean, I don't like when I'm streaming, I wouldn't do that, but
sure,
at home for the home game with my friends, and I like to have a little whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, speaking of the home game,
all right,
everybody, are you ready for bottle 2? This is also one that I have not tasted before. This is a Glenlivet 12. It's called First Fill.
You've not tasted it, but it's like half empty.
There's a lot of, so I gave out a number of sample bottles. So a number of people in the chat are tasting along out of this very bottle.
Now, Glenlivet is one of those whiskeys that you always hear about when you talk about whiskey. It's the one that, like, if you go on a TV show or something, it's like, Glenlivet is like the fanciest of whiskeys, you know? So,
okay.
Like Macallan's is the one you always hear about.
Right.
Big in the culture. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but this is a single malt from Glenlivet. It says first fill. It doesn't say first fill what? First fill some kind of barrel, I'm guessing. I'm guessing bourbon from the color.
Is that weird for them not to say what kind of barrel it is?
It's one of the reasons that I moved away from Glenlivet to other malts is just because they don't give you much information.
Thaddeus says bourbon. If it doesn't mention it's always bourbon, is that the case?
No, on their I searched around on their website. They mentioned ex-bourbon.
Okay.
Thanks, Thad.
First fill,
McGrady asked
ex-bourbon,
me
by the way. Hence
how
the name.
old were these kids I was trying to kill? They were 10. I have killed 10-year-old children in Dungeons and Dragons with glee.
But how old were their characters? Their characters were adults.
Their characters exist in like this weird nega realm where like I constantly forget, and so other adult NPCs will talk to them like they're children. They're like, "I'm 30." I'm like, then you got to act like it, man. Like, you know, where's your failed marriage? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I'm like, you're not 30. Where are
to
your
be fair,
bad
some
college
30-year-olds do sound like 10-year-olds.
That's true. That's true. But yes, they're 10, and I'll happily give your kids to me, and I'll kill their characters with glee.
Oh boy, this is a candy store whiskey.
Oh yeah, let's check it out. Oh wow, yep.
That is like licorice. That is right off the bat. I'm getting like black licorice.
Okay. Yeah, I get candy store. That
and
I get.
Anise for sure.
With freshly sanded wood walls.
Yeah, because someone mentioned that from the previous whiskey, and this to me is more, you know, that sort of a thing. Yeah, no, this is like a fancier dungeon.
Yeah, that's a great question. Feywild, maybe? Like maybe we're talking like it's like so sweet, you know? It feels like it's.
I want to like link them all to like old school dungeons. Yeah. I think this is like
what is that?
I don't know. It's like one of the. Let's say.
It puts me in mind of like hags, right? Like they're kind of trying to lure you in. Like it seems too sweet. It's like, you know what I mean? There's kind of a like old woman pastry maker, sort of a like.
You know what? I'm gonna say White Plume Mountain. That's what I'm gonna say.
Because this weird,
right? It is. It's weird and it's fancy. It's like
true.
You know. I'm gonna say it's White Plume Mountain.
Okay,
this is where you're gonna find Black Razor in this, and you're gonna and every character is gonna be wielding Black Razor because they all have it.
All I remember about White Plume Mountain is like, isn't there like a giant crab in the bottom of White Plume Mountain for no reason? And I remember fighting it, being like, why is this here? Like, how did this crab get here?
It's like inside the caldera of the volcano.
Right, in the volcano, yeah.
I mean, but where there's boiling water. But yeah, no, it's it's all stuff that like whatever that wizard put in there. Like the
That's
whole
the thing.
It's
like, one of those
and I'm gonna put stuff
madhouse dungeons, right? Where it's like you don't have to explain why it's here. But I see that. I get more of a like. I mean, it doesn't work for an old school dungeon because they never have done this. But this puts me in mind of like kind of Curse of Strahd, Domains of Dread. Like it's sweet, it's like alluring, but there's something underneath that. It isn't just sweet. It's like there's a sinister note under here.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
I like that.
And Brooke Lassie just crushes it with the notes in the chat there.
Petrichor.
Petrichor. Then
here's
acetone or resin. Oh my God.
Petrichor. Come on. Cut me a break. Like that's so good.
How dare she be so
well, that's what I mean. I'm like, I think it smells like candy. And she's a faint hint, a twinge of petrichor. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a wet dungeon. Exactly. Well, yeah, Lassie's on a whole nother level.
Yeah, this is like tasting it. I feel like this is more like reminds me of going back more to a wet dungeon a bit.
Oh, yep. Yep. I got that. That just hit me. Mm-hmm.
This is more interesting than I think you would get out of like a Glenlivet you'd find in a bar that's not definitely a whiskey bar, like Major Paul was saying.
I'm going to go off the beaten path. I'm going to say this is Teagle Manor.
I don't know Teagle Manor.
Teagle Manor, man. That's a dungeon that came out in the 80s. It's a Judge's Guild. It was do you know Judge's Guild?
No.
They had like a license to produce D&D.
Okay.
Right?
Like a third party.
It was when D&D, like when it first was around, it's like, oh, we'll let Judge's Guild. And they made like lower quality versions. And very we're going to interpret the rules however we want.
Yeah, well, back in those days, like everyone was doing that, right? That was how the game was played back then.
Oh yeah,
yeah, in the 80s.
But yeah, look up the map for Teagle Manor sometime. It's like a mega dungeon.
Teagle
Manor, Teagle, Teagle Manor map. Like it's crazy. It's this gigantic map of like a haunted mansion.
Are you getting I'm getting like an almost acidic kind of a thing. I'm thinking about like dungeons and gelatinous cubes, and like I'm getting kind of there's like a little bit of a burning, at least for me. Again, I'm totally new. Maybe you guys your palates are scorched earth at this point, but like
we still try to find stuff. But yeah,
I'm sure you did.
I feel like there's like another angle of this. Like we could have another show where we just make these all monsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, but I'm getting kind of a burning acidic thing in there too. Not nearly as sweet as it smells.
Gelatinous cube for sure.
Yeah.
It's digesting everything it
consumes. Yeah. Andrew was like, you guys are going to talk about stuff and I'm going to have no idea. And here you are, you're talking about cubes, man. You're in. Don't worry about it.
You're going back to the early D&D days, so I've got some reference there. That's
you're ready to go. You're ready to go.
I do love a gelatinous cube. Like the first time players, like low level players, meet in a gelatinous cube, it is so terrifying. It's like
because it's invisible, right? Like they don't see it, and then it's just too late. Yeah, when they finally do, like plopping.
They don't know how to deal with it. Like, can we kill it with swords? And it's like sucking people inside of it. It's like, what the hell?
And it's one of those like utterly. I love D&D monsters that have no provenance in any mythology or anything, right? Like, okay, you fight a minotaur, everything, all the baggage that comes to the minotaur. Like a gelatinous cube is pure Dungeons and Dragons that only exists to be in dungeons. It's utterly absurd. There's no reason it would ever exist, except just to perfectly fill a 10-foot corridor and creep up on you invisibly. Like it's purely Gygaxian, right? Like why else would it exist? I love monsters.
It does seem like something a mad wizard would create to be like, this will clean up my dungeon.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a Roomba. It's like a fantasy Roomba. It just scoops out the garbage.
You've trusted us. That makes sense.
Totally.
Like a beholder is the same sort of thing, I feel like.
Rust Monster, I feel like is a great example of Gygax just being like, it's just, you can't have that sword anymore. I got to take that sword away. Here's a monster that eats swords, right? Like, it's so lazy. It's like, there's no attempt to make it fit in the ecology of the world. No, whatever. It hates you and it's going to eat your sword. Yeah.
This is got a taste of a potion that makes you change your voice.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah, a little scratch.
Who'd you turn into there? You sounded like a kind of a
just a sling blade carny. That's
it's like if Jack Nicholson and Sling Blade got into a teleporter.
And their atoms combined, yeah. The cadence is very Nicholson, right? Yeah, it's very him. Yeah, funny.
With Goldblum as well mixed in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go into a teleporter, right? Yeah.
There's always a little Goldblum.
There's a couple Goldblum molecules still in there.
It's always there.
We didn't scrub it down properly. After.
I do feel like I want to see that comedy movie. Someone should make that movie where someone gets into a teleporter with Jeff Goldblum and they become partially Goldblum.
Yeah, right. The bloom.
Science is happening. Science
I'm
happening.
gonna do it. Might as well.
This is the Glenlivet. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself a little more.
The Glenlivet.
Yeah.
There's some distilleries that really like the in front.
Okay.
Or the.
Is Glenlivet one of them? Are they a little poncy? Okay.
It is the Glenlivet.
Oh, well.
And I feel pretty certain it's the, because they wouldn't want to say it's the Glenlivet.
Yeah, the gl sound with the Glenlivet. No. You got to go the on that.
Yeah, I think so.
Although I think the rule is just if it starts with a vowel, right? So it's like the, arbor as opposed to the arbor. So technically it would be the Glenlivet. It just sounds bad.
The gelatinous cube.
Exactly, right?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's more funky. It's more, I don't know. There's more like organic stuff, more complication, I feel like. I feel like I'm accessing some other stuff, but it seems like there's more going on to me with the water.
Yeah.
At least in the nose.
Yeah, Geek Filter. I got a little pirate voice in that too. A little like Barbosa out the side of your mouth kind of talk. Yeah. He always talks like that, right?
And this one is $35 at K&L right now.
Oh, there you go. How much do you put in for a science? I feel like I'm not putting in enough when I'm sciencing.
We're just putting in a single drop.
A drop? Oh, because this, I'm not doing, this is just water to me. Maybe it's the goblet.
You're doing more than a drop?
Yeah, I'm doing the dropper, right? Like, and nothing. I'm not getting anything. I do not have the hound-like sense of smell that you guys have.
Well, I do feel like the Glencairn glass does help.
Yeah, I think that's got to be it. Like it does.
It does help.
Yeah, I might leave the science to the scientists. I'm just a
we are scientists of whiskey.
At this point, I'd hope that you would be, right? Like so much whiskey, you got to take something out of it.
There's something savory in the finish, almost like a meat.
I think I like it more with the science. I think I like it a bit more. Like they're similar, but I think I like it a little more.
I think so too. I think this is a plus with water.
Like it was a little one note before, and now there's a little more going on. I think it does what they say the water should do. It opened it up a bit.
Should open up the taste. Yeah, no, there's a lot. A syrup kind of appears in the taste. That then turns into whatever that meat is, that roasted meat that's maybe got a glaze on it.
Yeah, to me, it's like maybe like Zanku chicken. You know, you get the
Sure.
chicken tarna, right?
Yeah, man. Deep cut Zanku chicken reference. I love it.
I love Zanku chicken.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to love.
Yeah.
To turn this back to Dungeons and Dragons for a second, there's a plot line. McCready will know about this. I've run this for him before. In the 5th edition version of Ravenloft, Curse of Strahd, where there's a hag who bakes like children into little like meat pies.
As they should be.
Yeah, right. That's what you do with children. And your description of that, like I'm getting the sweet and then like the little bit of meat undertone. It's like perfect for that, right? It's like there's a little bit of like toddler in there. Yeah, you know.
Welcome to I fucking love
games
whiskey
for your kids, right?
Well, welcome to I fucking love whiskey. This whiskey tastes like meat pies made from children.
Made from children,
like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
For real, but
exactly.
For real, more serious than Sweeney Todd.
Right.
This is going to be the highlight they use. Yep, that's great. That's great.
Yep.
It's like the veal of Sweeney
It's
Todd.
weird that you can't get a sponsor from them. I don't understand why. Yeah, that's strange.
Very odd. Here, hey, I'm going to turn it back to whiskey for just a second.
Oh, please.
One of of the things I found out.
To the show. God.
One of the things I found out today in listening to the master blender from Loch Lomond in Glen Scotia was that if it's over 46%, they don't have to chill filter it because the alcohol will hang on to the esters and not become cloudy if you put water or ice in it. So over 46% are usually non-chill filtered, but under 46% are often chill filtered.
So if it's exactly 46%, like the next one we're supposed to have, do you think it was chill filtered?
It's hard to say. It doesn't say it on the bottle, and so when it doesn't say it on the bottle, I tend to suspect it has been chill filtered. Otherwise, it should say.
What is chill filtering, Andrew?
So what?
A great question.
Is they cool it down, and what happens is the esters and the oils that make it look cloudy float to the top, and they just kind of skim that off. They take out a lot of the oily flavor, So these first two tasted really thin to me, because it doesn't have those ester oils that really coat the mouth and give you the wonderful stuff that we're going to taste. I think in the BenRiach maybe, but certainly in the Ardbeg, it's non-chill filtered. It says it on the label. So there you go. That was my little whiskey tidbit. Now we can go back to D&D. Sorry.
No, that's what we're here to talk about. That's incredible.
Can we talk about both? There's room.
Yeah,
for
there's
both.
room in this show. Come on.
I think isn't it time to move on to the next whiskey though?
Okay. Almost.
I've just been sniffing this candy store. I can't stop.
I got a couple minutes here. I just wanted to talk to Timothy because you've been doing a show on this channel.
I have. Yes.
Doing a single person RPG, which sounds like insanity, but you make it work. You produce this narrative that is a compelling story. This lead character who is kind of like an anti-hero.
Very much an anti-hero. Yeah. Thank you. It's a really challenging process. It's a great game. The game is called Ironsworn, and it's developed by a designer named Sean Tompkin, and he's incredible. I mean, if you're in the RPG space at all, you've probably heard of this guy and what he's doing. They're currently kickstarting their sort of follow-up game, which is like a kind of Mandalorian style, like sci-fi version of Ironsworn called Starforged. Man, it's so cool. I like the stuff he makes. But Tales by Fire has been running for 2 seasons now. We just wrapped up season 2, and like, it's such a strange experience to do that, like because it's like what I find to be is that it's like terrifying. Like, it's utterly terrifying. Like, I'm the kind of dungeon master who, when I go into a game, I want to have everything kind of prepped out. I'm happy to improvise if it comes up, but if I know the story and I know the world and I know the pieces, then I feel much better about like how to improvise inside of that. But with this game, like, the whole point is that there's no prep. Like, you are the GM and the player, and you don't do any prepping, right? So you just have to like figure it out as you go along, and then there's an audience watching you. Like, it's one thing if you're alone and you're just like, I'm just playing Ironsworn, but then with the chat there, like, I have to keep remembering that the chat is like there to help. Like, they are there to help you if you don't have an idea. But like, I would really recommend, like, if you want to like challenge yourself as a storyteller, if you really feel like I'm a pretty good game master, run some Ironsworn for yourself and like start facing some of these questions of like, you need to make this interesting. And all you have is a couple of dice rolls and you didn't do any prep, right? Like, so I love it. It's exhilarating, but it's also like, man, as a show, it can be really nerve wracking. So I appreciate Andrew's been a loyal fan of the show for a long time, coming in and checking it out. I think we're going to do one more season, probably like a third season to wrap it up. The character's really fun. He's just like an absolute shitlord, like just the worst. And it's fun to make a character like that and to then like be exasperated at the choices you're forced to make. Like, oh no, he's a dumbass. He wouldn't know that, would he?
He's
or
lost
like,
his axe again. Oh, he's captured again.
again. He has been captured. Like, it's like The Hobbit, right? He is just constantly being captured and then escapes and then is captured by somebody worse just for like an entire season. It was a whole season of like, I got out. And then someone worse finds him and it's like, oh, you're captured again. But yeah, I'm always been amazed by how cinematic and how narrative it ends up working, even though you go with no prep. Like, I think I've told better stories sometimes in that game than I have in these games that I like laboriously prep everything, you know.
I mean, it's the improvisation aspect of it. You find the perfect story and you find the reincorporation.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm like 100% the opposite as a GM. Like
great.
I'm anti-prep. Like I maybe a page of notes, but the less prep I do, the better the game goes. But it's because like years of improv training. That's why
exactly.
Is like, and also, yeah, it's just anything you discover in the moment is going to be better than, you know, any pre-planned narrative. So I like to kind of just, you know, if you know kind of the idea of how the world works, you know, and
I think that's key,
you know,
right?
Keeping it open. But I like, that's why I started to do improv RPG, which, you know,
that's right. Yeah.
When I'm done with Blackbirds, hopefully that will be back. But it's like, I don't want to prepare anything. Like I want to prepare nothing as a GM. And I feel like, I think it's definitely like I'm assisted because I have the skills to do that, you know, from being an improv person for so long. But it's like but I think everybody should do it. Like honestly, I think I see people prepping out like how the story's going to go, and I'm like, don't do that. Like it's going to be better. You know, you're going to end up throwing it out anyway.
And that's the thing. Honestly, that's what happens 90% of the time is you don't use it. But for me, it's like this weird like safety blanket of like, if I think through it, then I feel like I will be in a better place because I don't have that improv background that you have, right? So it's like I had to kind of laboriously train myself over the years to like prep and then don't look at it. Like I will write it all down and I'll do all the stuff that you're supposed to do and then I just never open it because it's in my brain now, right? And I run the game from there. You know, there's maybe like maps and like some of the fiddly stuff. But again, if Ironsworn has taught me anything is that like you actually don't need that in order to tell a good story, not even a little bit. Like
all of my best experiences as a GM have been like when we went off the whatever.
Something unexpected happens and it's just
I think the
always without exception.
Right. The other really important factor to that though, and maybe you disagree, Joseph, but that like you got to trust your players. Like if you go in with a group you don't know very well, and that's kind of my job, right? I work for strangers, so like on some level, I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know what to like expect. So like I think a lot of dungeon masters look at that, right? And it's like I would rather be safe in myself.
Well, that comes down to like experience and being a good dungeon master. Like if you have crappy players or a player or at least one player who's bad, like managing that is a lot of work, and that involves skill, and you have to know what you're doing. Like that is. But that's like, you know, that's like in
Can we just talk about whiskey?
All right, let's drink the
Okay.
Go back to this.
We were all ready to move on, and you were like, let's talk more about this. And
I know you guys fucking love Dungeons and Dragons. I fucking love whiskey.
Oh my God. We can fucking love both, Andrew.
All right, fine. BenRiach, the Smoky 10. This is, again, very accessible. This is a $50 bottle of P&L. And it's a smoky Speyside, which is kind of unusual. So this is going to have a little bit of, it's from a bourbon cask, ex-Bourbon cask, ex-Jamaican rum cask, and ex-Virgin Oak Speyside. Fantastic.
Yeah, we had a tasting of this recently.
We did, and this was my favorite, even over the Smoky 12.
Yeah, and McCready is saying you're a natural improviser, and I would believe that. Like, you couldn't get away with doing a show, and you wouldn't be a good DM without being a natural improviser.
It is
sure. But yeah, I just think that the notion of running into a game without prep, like maybe it's just like residual creature fear, but like
It's probably what it is, because you've such strong narrative skills. Like you
I
understand, like this is the right thing to happen in the story. Is it the good thing for the character to happen here, or the bad thing? It's like, no, actually,
almost always the bad
it's always
thing.
the bad thing.
Yeah.
Bad thing is always interesting.
Always
The hero must be tortured. We haven't done Uigeadail yet, and thank you, Geek Filter, for saying so.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, this is real. This is smoky.
self-evident.
Now, my smoky palette of smokiness definitely smells the smokiness. But yeah.
This rings the smoky bell.
So what's a good smoky dungeon? Like we've done White Plume, so we can't go to the volcano. Like what's a good fire-based, like, you know, there's some third edition stuff, but what do you got?
Descent into Avernus.
Oh, sure. Yeah, very modern.
We can go with something like that's came out recently.
That's cool. Yeah.
Although there is a Judge's Guild dungeon called Inferno.
All this janky third-party shit
Judge's Guild. No, this was actually very well done. It was like
I'm sure it is.
It was based on Dante's Inferno, and it was like the first, I think, 3 levels. So it is like Avernus, but it's like it's a completely different, more dungeony version of it.
Right.
You know? There wasn't like a world.
Yeah. No,
this
that's cool.
Also, kind of reminds me of like a pool toy, like when you just bought it, like that rubber. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yep. I got it.
Although I get the impression that this is I'm underneath a wool blanket with someone I love around a campfire, and
oh really?
A little bit of that.
Yeah, this definitely has a bit of a outdoor school or summer camp.
I don't get that. Like that's very comforting. That's not what I get here. Maybe I'm just thinking of Avernus now, but like it feels more.
And can I just say, damn it,
wrapped in Band-Aids, sweet carbolic soap, man.
God damn it. I'm not sure what dungeon it would be. If you want to put it in your like layman's terms, right? Like, I don't know how to apply it to dungeons. Great. Thanks, Lassie. Just hanging us out to dry with your prose.
Having met her, I don't hear
I'm sure
I don't hear that.
No, absolutely.
But I can see how just over text.
No. Lassie sounds like a wonderful person.
Hey, Ox.
Yeah, water in a cave beneath a volcano. Yeah, that's White Plume.
So this is White Plume. I was wrong about the last one. This is White Plume.
Well, you said Teague's Manor was the other one. Yeah,
so we could Teagle Manor. All right, I'll go Teagle Manor. This one's going to be White Plume.
This is White Plume. I think I agree with that. It would be a dungeon with a cigar bar. Yeah, I like that. More dungeons need cigar bars, I feel like. That's an oversight in the industry. Oh, wow.
Wow, it's got some heat in it.
Okay.
That is it's like sweeter than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it's my favorite whiskey so far.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. Yeah. I like smelling that last one, but I did not like tasting the last one.
Yeah, it got some kick in that. This has some stuff going on.
Right.
I think there's like leather chairs in the cigar bar.
Ooh, yep.
Although I would go, the other dungeon I would equate this to, like old school dungeon, is Into the Unknown.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I loved Into the Unknown.
Because it was basically like a heap of like these fancy high level adventurers before it like fell into disrepair. So there would be a cigar bar in there.
That's true. Is Into the Unknown the one that just were blank rooms, like it just stopped at a certain point? That's what I remember about that dungeon, is that like at a certain point it was just like
you had like fill it out as a dungeon master right in your stuff. It's like it's like training wheels.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember getting to it and then we'd be like, nope, we're done. That's it. Nothing. You know what I mean? Like once we get to the blank rooms, we're done. Because we're like 12 or whatever.
We ran it anyway, but we would just like make up the rooms as we went along.
Which is the right thing to do.
Roll
but
on a chart or something.
Yeah. And then it's like, why is there a vampire and an ankeg in this room together? What is their relationship? You know what I mean? You're just like
friends.
It's consensual. Exactly. You don't need to ask that.
Right, exactly. It's personal.
I love that TV show, Vampire and
Ankeg.
Again.
They've got like a duplex in Brooklyn or whatever.
Blood and I'm spitting acid. Vampire and Ankeg.
Right, and it's like he comes out of comes into the kitchen. There's like little ants everywhere. It's like Ankeg, right? Like right to camera as it comes in. Like, did you breed again? Like, I can't help it. It's February. You know how Ankegs are.
Did you drink my blood?
Yeah, there's a whole plot about how
blood in the cellar. You drank my blood.
Like there's a housewarming party, but the vampire can't get in because he wasn't invited. Right? There's like there's a whole plot line about that. Yeah.
It writes itself.
It really does. Listen, Blackbird sounds cool, but like what we should really be focusing on, Vampire and Ankeg. You guys all know what an ankeg is, right, chat? This is accessible content.
I do love that Brooklassie is like, definitely leather. Can leather be effervescent? And yes, this is like, if there was a soda that was leather flavored, like it has that bubbly sort of like fizzy leather.
Ooh, I like Geek Filter too. It's a smell of coals from the funeral pyre of a great war. That's very Iron Sworn. Yeah. Sounds like a half orc I want to know. Yeah. We've all known that half orc. Hey, Foxblade, what's up? Thanks for coming.
I do feel like it's a great warrior, but one that had like the taint of darkness upon
yeah, right. It's kind of a Darth Vader's funeral kind of a moment where you're a little bit like, you were a bad guy, but like right there at the end, you know.
Maybe a little Jaime Lannister, you know.
Ooh, yeah, cool. So Andrew, talk to us about your gaming experience, right? Like you've obviously got some knowledge, but it seems like you haven't maybe gamed in a while. Like what's going on?
It was like, version 2 of D&D.
Okay.
Way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Some friends in university got me into it. Also got me into pot smoking while we did D&D.
We were playing 5th edition for a while. We had a campaign going before.
Great. Yeah, but just recently.
Okay, you came back into it. That's
Joseph
great.
got me back into it. Yeah,
we were playing Descent into Avernus.
Oh, cool. That's a fun one. I would always love to run that. Did you get to the War Machines? Did you get down there into that stuff?
Yeah, they had some pretty cool war machines. For the voice of Lulu, I did the Hierophant. I did Tree Trunks from Adventure.
Oh, of course you did. Yeah, that's totally Tree Trunks.
They all love Lulu. Like it's like
everybody loves Lulu
themselves to save Lulu.
It's yeah, I think Lulu is really divisive. Like you either love Lulu or you hate Lulu. Like if you're like an edgelord and you're like, this stupid elephant, but like no one with a soul loves Lulu, right? Yeah, or hates Lulu. Like you have to love Lulu.
You have to love her.
You gotta love her. Yeah, she's perfect in every way. I love Lulu. Yeah, I love to run Avernus though. It's cool. I've been lusting after that one for a while. It's hard to run that for kids though. It's hard to be like, we're going to hell.
Yeah,
right. And then the parents are like
calling you.
They're hearing like, okay, I want to cut his throat on the altar. Like, you know, you just like at a certain point, if a 10-year-old's talking about demon sacrifice, like you got to be a little more kid friendly. So
this is really good. Like I should get some of this.
Yeah. This is $50 at Kano.
Yeah.
Good price. And you might be thinking $50 is a lot for a bottle, but I mean, this bottle will last you, months.
Yeah.
Unless you have a problem.
In which case, $50, that's not your biggest problem.
You should stick with the cheap beer.
Right. Yeah, this is my favorite. I agree, Andrew. This is the best one so far.
This is definitely, I was going to say this is my favorite whiskey.
Going in for the science.
Oh, the science.
Such a nice, yeah, I guess we have to.
Wait a minute. Have I been doing this wrong?
Are you pouring the whiskey into the...
You can watch me. This is what I do. Watch
Correct.
This.
I had it backwards.
Here it goes, Timothy. I just do one drop.
Yeah, see, well, that's the problem is that I was pouring one drop of whiskey into a glass of water. And I was like, that's why I was like, this doesn't taste like anything. This tastes like water. I got it backwards. Listen, I had to have one really embarrassing whiskey faux pas, and that was it, clearly, right? So like now we can move past it together.
Although maybe it's a learning experience. Maybe we learned something from that. Like
it just tasted like fucking water.
There's no mistakes.
Yeah, it's improv, right? Okay.
Oh, I don't know. That kind of opened some stuff up for me.
I think I like this in the nose.
Oh yeah, that really makes the nose kind of fly. At least the nose. I haven't tasted it yet, but the nose is.
It's getting bigger. There's lots more going on.
There's like a whole forest now. Like before, it was like a campfire. Now it's like an entire forest. There's fire somewhere in there, but there's definitely a forest where there's fire happening somewhere.
Oh yes, but there's more lush kind of vegetation around the edges, and berries are ripe and just like full of on some branch.
Well, you look at that; it tastes totally different. Yeah, maybe if you do it right, you'll get the right effect. Told you. Enox says, pretty sure my grandma would do a Timothy style back in the 80s to calm down the kids. Why are the kids drinking whiskey is my question, I guess.
That's a good question.
It's the first question I had reading that statement. But let us know, Enox. Maybe we were doing parenting wrong.
You put a little whiskey on the baby's gums when they cry, right?
Sure. Water chased the peat away. Does anyone else smell copper?
In the nose, I think it chased the peat away, but I still get that in the palate.
Yeah. A bit, but it definitely like takes it down a bit. I don't know. I like what it does more to the nose than it does to the flavor, I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I liked it better without the science, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
I get maybe a copper in the finish, but not in the nose. You may be having an emergency, Brooke Lassie.
You might need to call a professional.
I don't know. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's there because I've tasted it now, but I think I get it more in the taste. Like there's a bit of like blood in the taste, you know?
Yes. Yes, the kind of iron blood sort of flavor.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Okay. Vampire.
Oh, man.
Pancake.
A little known thing. I fucking love whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's weird. It's weird to learn that now, this deep into the show. That's weird.
I keep it close to my chest.
I feel like we should change the name of the show to something like "I fucking love whiskey."
Instead of Dungeons and Dragons.
I fucking love whiskey.
Yeah. Instead of which dungeon is this whiskey?
Instead of whiskey.
Timothy, have you played Hillfolk?
No, I've not played Hillfolk.
Oh,
Talk to me about Hillfolk.
You got to check out Hillfolk.
Was this one? Did you guys do this one on Improv RPG? I think I saw that. Was that?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrew was on it. It was
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah.
Nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's right.
Nightmare Before Christmas. It was War on Christmas.
War on Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a bunch of
more
different
sense.
scenarios, but it's a fully like narrative RPG. I think you'd really dig it. You should check
Okay.
it out.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll check it out. That's sweet. I want to talk about blackbirds, man. I'm sure you talk about it a lot on this channel if you've had
No,
a
I'm
chance.
happy to talk about it.
What's
I'm
going
very
on? Like,
excited.
I don't really understand what you do for it. I know you're involved. Talk to me. Imagine I'm a child and I don't know what blackbirds is. Because I'm kind of a child who doesn't know what blackbirds is.
Blackbirds is a scary role play.
Well, no, yeah,
you're a
but
child.
like, what is your role? Like, are you your designer on it? Right, I'm assuming. Are you
I'm
the
the lead
designer?
designer,
You're the lead
yeah.
designer. Fuck, that's crazy, man. This
I
game
created
is
the
doing
magic
really well right
system, and I wrote the bestiary,
Okay.
and I wrote like the trappings chapter, which is like
now. That's huge.
Like the stuff, the chapter of stuff, basically.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
swords
yeah.
and things.
That's awesome.
But we've been working like that's mostly what I've been doing during quarantine is writing on that. I've written
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of words, like over
Was it-
100,000 words.
Was it your idea? Like this is your baby, or was it?
No.
You were hired, or
Ryan Vernier is like the
Okay.
lead designer. It's his world, like his campaign world.
I see.
That
Okay.
he has run for years, and it has like this. He's like a fucking super genius with like
Right.
a knowledge of history.
Yeah.
And he's obsessed with like the details of like everything must like has fitting together into a woven narrative tapestry,
I
which is
feel that
awesome.
way.
I'm like all 100% on board for that.
Great.
So, so this is the campaign he's been running, and then he basically hired us to write out this world for him.
Okay. Yeah. So you're doing like rules design and stuff like that based on the lore. Okay.
Well, but also like creating, like narrative stuff and
Sure.
because it's like, he might be like, oh, this area over here is like, they're like, you look like you're muted on my screen. Are you not muted? Because I can hear you. Or
Me? Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
mute. I live on this street in Los Angeles that's very noisy, so I will mute and unmute myself as like someone with a motorcycle goes by. I have developed a keen sense of when I need to mute my now. So I'm listening. I'm here.
It's funny though that like as someone who's been on Zoom for so long, I find that super distracting. When
Oh,
see,
I'm
like,
sorry. I can stop. No worries.
I'm fine with it now, but I'm just
Great.
noticing that like I notice when someone's muted because I feel like I must immediately say, "Hey, you're muted." You know,
right.
I don't know.
No,
It's
I'm
just-
just trying not to have you listen to motorcycles. Is all I'm trying to do. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we should drink. Do we have
I
another
sent you
whiskey?
that prop.
We do have another whiskey. We have our final whiskey of the day, and let me
Alright.
tell you, it is the number one bottle that I've ever bought. Uigeadail. I come back to it again and again. Price performance. It's $60 a bottle, but it is fantastic. It is
Incredible.
sherry and bourbon casks. It is peated, and it is Islay Glory. Ardbeg Uigeadail, 54.2%.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say right now, I haven't even smelled this or tasted it, but I know
It's my
this
favorite
is my
whiskey.
favorite fucking whiskey.
Yep.
I love Uigeadail.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I feel if I don't have a bottle of Uigeadail in my house, I'm like, why don't I have this?
There's like an itch in the back of your mind. You're like, I gotta get some oog. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get that
yes.
oog.
Where's my oog?
Yeah. Gotta have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I've had 13 bottles in the 5 years that I've kept track of bottles I buy.
Wow. Okay. Ready? I'm gonna
Let's do it.
lift it.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Ooh.
I'll just be over here. You guys continue the show.
Yeah, thanks. No, dude, that sounds cool. I gotta check it out. Like everything I see about Blackbird looks incredible, right?
We've been teasing it for a while, so we've been like dripping out like stuff.
Because like the team, like Nwadiwe is on that team now, right? What is he working on with you guys?
He's like doing like he's in writer's room, like he's helping out with like all sorts of stuff. He's kind of helping out with everything. You know?
Great. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we like all the like I don't know how I got involved with the team. I think it's like I've done a lot. I've done a lot of writing.
Your skill in writing RPGs, I imagine, is involved. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had like a really good pitch for the magic system, and
right.
And it is kind of like my dream gig to write an RPG. So
for sure,
especially like a dark fantasy one. Like it's like I'm all on 100% on board.
That's incredible.
That, so.
Talk of a Kickstarter, yes, sometime soon.
It should be. I think before the end of the year we'll have a Kickstarter going, and then everything will be printed next year.
Okay,
is our current timeline.
Great.
Yeah, and it's very exciting. So
I can't wait. It looks awesome. I'd love to be involved. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna back the shit out of that.
Yeah, well, you should play. You should be a playtester.
I would love to. Yes. Let's hook up. I'm into it. Yeah.
A craftsman's furniture workshop. Yeah, you've got the wood, you've got the varnish in there. You've got
I got that.
Absolutely
guilty. I don't even know what dungeon this would be.
Yeah.
I love your cup. Like that's a great cup.
Oh, thanks.
It's almost It's
a little earthenware that I got. Yeah. There's like a Viking bar in Seattle we used to go to. They would make these. Yeah.
And it feels actually kind of authentic to how they probably would have in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I kind of thought. I was like, I got to use my little earthenware. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it affects the taste at all, right? Because
this is like an awesome classic dungeon, I think.
Yeah. It reminds me less of a dungeon and more like a living room that you would play a dungeon in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a really nice, because like there's like, again, the furniture is what I'm thinking of here, McCready keeps sending us things.
How?
I sent you a kiss. Timothy, I sent you a shield.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of personal messages in here right now.
Yeah. It's getting a little weird.
Joseph, got to talk to you about graphics. I keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah, slide into the DMs, folks. Slide into the DMs.
Hey, how come you never call me back?
Yeah, I always try to yell at you in chat and you don't answer. Lassie says this is one of my all-time desert island top 5 whiskeys. Honey and sherry and peat. Oh my, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I could just sit in this nose forever. Like the nose itself is.
I almost don't want to drink it.
Like, the taste is well worth it.
Sure. Like the oog. Where is it from? What's the provenance? What is that?
Islay.
Is it Gaelic?
It's from Islay.
Islay.
Yeah, Uigeadail is the name of the water source lake that feeds the distillery.
Okay.
Or loch, sorry.
In Scotland? In Ireland? Scotland. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was Scots, Irish, or okay, gotcha.
All of these are
I see. Well, I only saw half of it. There we go.
That's Islay right there. That little
ready to go.
Right there. You see that?
I do. Yeah.
That's where it comes from. That's where you get Uigeadail. From the island of Islay.
Right there on the edge.
It's not Islay. It's Islay.
Islay.
That's
great. Okay. Yeah,
you got to do a cheesy Scottish accent. And
for sure. Is there another kind?
If you're a dungeon master.
Oh yeah, the worst.
Well, no, Ash, my wife does like amazing Scottish accent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think she does a pretty good Edinburgh accent. I don't think she does a Glasgow.
Ooh.
There's a lot of those are very two distinct things. That's true.
Boom, Ash. Boom.
That's like together. Tennessee Southern versus Texas Southern.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd be amazed. Like, there's such a variety of accents, even just in the United States. Like, there's just so much geography, right?
Yeah, Texas accent is all
down here.
And then you got the Cajun accent. We're gonna go pull the Piro down the bayou.
Yeah, West Texas has like that, like pin merger, where like the E and the I sound are the same, right? Like pin and pin, right, are the same noise when it's pen and pin. Yeah.
Damn, Uigeadail is the perfect whiskey. Like, it really is just the perfect whiskey. I mean, all the more reason that you can actually buy it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It is purchasable.
It just hits the spot. And Canal has it so great. This reminds me of the Mists of Kieran campaign.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't put a dungeon in this yet. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't just Google random early D&D
like sweating, like dungeon whiskey Uigeadail ? I fit in, guys.
All right, I'm gonna say this is a dungeon that you cannot buy and was never really published.
Okay.
Which is the original Gary Gygax's Castle Greyhawk.
Greyhawk. Yeah, I think it's the OG. Yeah,
they published like one that was like a joke version because it was after Gary left, and they were like, "Screw you, Gary Gygax."
That's
like,
right.
And so it's never really been published. But this to me reminds me of like the original time when I used to play D&D as a kid.
Yep.
You know, and just that sense of like, this exists, this magical world exists, and I can go to it. Like that's.
And the possibility of it, and like, that's sort of like graph paper and like erasers and like the old
weird
ways.
Dice. The first time you got those weird dice, and you were like, "What are these? They're awesome!" You know, like all of that discovery of it. You know.
Yep, I feel that. Yeah. God, I forgot about that joke, Greyhawk. It had a weird name. It had like a different. I forget what it's called, but it had like a wacky like Gary, right?
I think it was called Castle Greyhawk.
Really? It was just the same? I thought there was like a joke one they made.
I think it was. And then they had like at one point they were like I think there was like a version of like Gary in a hot tub like snorting cocaine or something like in the dungeon itself. Like it was really like he went to Hollywood.
I think you're right. I think it is just called Castle Greyhawk.
Let's be you know, honestly, like I mean I love you know a lot of the stuff he produced, but that guy was problematic.
Fuck that guy. Yeah, like I don't care.
It was
There's so much that's I mean. There's a lot.
How much whiskey did I drink as a kid playing D&D? None. But I mean, this reminds me of it. So that's all that matters.
Right.
It's so nostalgic, this stuff.
Yeah. It is like all the nose and flavor. Like it takes you back.
Hey, thanks for the cheer, Geek Filter.
Hey, thanks, Geek Filter.
Or whatever that is. What is that called? It's cheers.
Bits?
It's coins. Purple diamonds. Purple diamonds.
Purple diamonds. Yay.
That's the term, I think.
Thanks for the bits cheering.
What? Oh yeah, Thad. What do you think of the Uigeadail? As if we don't already know.
If we don't know.
As if you don't know from my input of last week's episode, this is my favorite whiskey of the day, and I'm so excited because I ran out, and Andrew has given me some of this, and
there you go.
I want to get another thing. I'm gonna call back to the last whiskey though. Two things that I picked out that y'all didn't. Was on the nose without water. I got green olives with pimentos and like a briny solution. And then with water on the taste, it tasted sort of like corn, but like popping corn, not grilled corn.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, man.
But no, going back to this one, Uigeadail. Amazing, great for the price point. I need to pick up another 5 bottles or so, and never run out again. So
in case the apocalypse comes, like I think last week we were saying, like, why do I not have Uigeadail here? Like, why do I not have it? Like,
what if something happens in the world? Yeah, I'm
like
not
people
ready.
are hoarding gasoline. Like, you know what? You know what they need to drive Uigeadail to me? They need gasoline to drive it over here.
Drink
so
it here to me.
Get some.
Major Paul gave out some subs. Thanks, Major Paul.
Wow, that's so awesome. Thanks, Major Paul. And we got a hype train going. Again, don't know what it is, but hey, hype us. I'm so old.
Oh, what a dad comment. Oh, the hype train. Oh, honey, there's a hype train. Like, and what is that? You know what? Honey, yeah.
It's a hype train. Everybody knows what that is.
Everybody's got to. Oh, we heard about that hype train, you know.
It's a level 2 hype train now. There's confetti.
Whoa.
I've never scienced Uigeadail. I'll be honest. I've never scienced.
Why would you?
You know what? It's not going to happen to me today.
You don't fucking need to. I keep going through this process where I'm like, oh, I shouldn't swear. And I'm like, show's called I Fucking Love Whiskey. It's okay. And then they're like, I like constantly go through this loop of like, hey, you know, it's in literally the title of the show. You know what I mean?
If you're coming here not expecting
swearing.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Exactly.
We don't fucking love swearing, but we fucking approve of it.
You fucking approve. Great. Wow. I fucking appreciate it. Yeah. I liked that. God, what was the third or fourth one? I forget now. They're all
we're on the fourth one now, the Ardbeg.
The third one I think was my favorite. Yeah, first. And now, I don't know. The Oog is making it hard to choose, you know?
Hey, thanks. Timothy, I'm so enthused that you like the peated stuff. Because I was worried, you know, not knowing a lot about whiskey, that you would get to the peated stuff and kind of go, because there's some people that just approach this.
Right. Yeah. It's this is not relevant at all, but I kind of like that like dark like flavor to it. I'm not really like an IPA drinker or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like I like it. I like like booze that challenges me. So yeah, I'm into it.
This definitely does. This is, but it's so good. Oh
yeah. Oh, Lassie's doing it.
Raisins and berries in there, and
yeah, there's a lot going on. It is like a harvest of like fruits and vegetables, and I don't know. It's like an entire meal.
Yeah.
Look at this hype going on. I don't know what it is, but let me just do some of it.
Woo! Honey, I'm hyping. Look at me. Honey, look.
I hyped on TikTok. I TikToked a hype.
I
hyped. Look,
am I
hyped?
Wait.
Am I trending now?
Right now?
Or
am I flossing? Am I flossing? Am I doing it?
Is this a floss? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Get off TikTok, Dad. Yeah.
Brooke Lassie, did you actually science it? And you're recommending don't? I mean, like, I'm not going to, but
they said they were going to try it. So
that's good to know, because I don't ever want to.
Don't. I scienced it with
Thaddeus.
With her.
Why?
And it's not terrible. It's just knocks it down to something that's average.
Gotcha.
See, and why would you want to do that? This is so amazing.
Unnecessary. Good to know. Good to know.
Lassie described it as it takes from Harrison Ford in his prime to badly hungover Adam Driver, which I think is my favorite description you've given so far, Lassie.
But
so vivid.
Still pretty hot though, right? I mean,
right,
come on.
like Adam Driver punching a hole in a wall, right?
But I will take Harrison Ford in his prime, though. I'll take.
Yeah. Bodie Cooper, 1,000. Whoop!
Whoa!
Wow!
Look at all those bits, honey.
Yeah, never. This is the thing to learn. Just take your Uigeadail like a man or a woman,
right?
Or whatever you want to be referred to as.
Yeah, there you go.
Just take it and drink it. Just
take your Uigeadail like a person of taste.
Yes,
exactly.
And don't mess with it.
Okay. I'm gonna have a little more.
Yeah. Some science is mad science, and
right.
That's what
man's reach exceeds his grasp.
Don't Frankenstein your Uigeadail.
Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't have to end the show right now, but Timothy.
Hey, what's up?
I hate to get serious with you.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, we've had a lot of fun on the show, but the question that's been like,
yes, I've been warned about this. Yeah,
that I want to know, and I apologize for springing this very serious question on you.
Okay. Yeah,
you've had 5, because you had to warm up.
Right.
Whiskeys today, 5 different whiskeys, and I just want to know, after tasting them, do you like whiskey?
Yeah, I do feel a little bit ambushed by that question, Andrew. And like, no, I understand you have a job to do and it's your show, and I'll try to do the best that I can to answer it. But I don't like whiskey. Okay. I fucking love whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna own up to it. I fucking love whiskey. I'm not ashamed anymore. Into frame. Beautiful. Yeah. I understand. It's a big moment for everyone. I appreciate both of you being here to help me out through it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do we.
I need some medicine.
Really?
Make me feel better.
I'm not alone.
You're not.
I'm not alone anymore. I'm not alone in having just tried whiskey an hour ago for the first time.
Now, is it true that you've never tried whiskey before?
Correct. I think I probably had like samples, sipped or whatever, but never like in a serious, like I want to drink some whiskey intentionally. No, I'm not much of a drinker. Like I'll do it if it's happening, but I don't really seek it out. So like, no, this was awesome. This is a great excuse to do it, right? Like that's what I mean. Like if it's a thing and we're like, hey, we're all gonna drink together, I'm in. But I don't like, I don't know, I'm gonna get drunk. Like that's just not my,
No, and again, I mean, like we've had 2 ounces of whiskey, which is
of course
1 shot in a bar. So this is not about getting drunk. This is about
for sure.
This is about really experiencing the craft and artisanship that goes into making this product. The science and art met together. I mean, that's where I find my career, science and art coming together. And I love that place. And this is that. So,
and also just meeting you and talking to you while we're having the whiskey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get drunk, but I like that it makes us a little bit, it brings our barriers down a bit. You know what I mean?
For sure. That's what I like about it too.
You know, you connect with people just a bit more, a little bit of spirits, you know, let you kind of just connect with people. That's all.
I think that's part of it for me too, is that like I struggle a lot with social anxiety and being nervous around people, especially people that I don't know very well. And like having this as a like, you know, not only sort of a centerpiece to have a conversation about, but then also to the way that it kind of relaxes you and it removes some of those things, those walls you would put up in front. Like, yeah, I totally agree. So like, I'm so thrilled to be on the show. It's awesome to be here with both of you.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
I want to thank Thaddeus, who is our wondrous technician, making the magic happen, making the love for whiskey happen, making the tasting notes and everything else that's just remarkable at the show, making it so easy for us to do the show. Thank you, Thad. We love you.
Thank you, Thad. So
Aaron Harvey, thank you for the graphics. Cody Bushy, thank you for the bot. And mostly you folks at home, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to this channel. Lots of great, interesting stuff going to be happening. We're going to be probably taking a hiatus at the end. Well, we're certainly taking a hiatus. Our last show is May 29th.
Okay.
And then I think Outpost 13 is taking a hiatus. Something new is going to happen.
Yes.
Back in the fall, though, in some form, whether, you know, we'll be back. And then follow us on YouTube because, you know, you get to see new episodes like weeks after they're aired here. And other than that, Joseph, what do you got to plug?
I mean, just Blackbirds when it comes out. Go to blackbirdsrpg.com and check it out. And
follow them on Twitter. They post amazing little snippets every once in a while.
the little lore
we
snippets
just
are cool.
started to release some stuff about the oligarchs, which are like the main villains.
That's
of
right.
Blackbirds.
I saw that. Yeah.
If you were wondering who the villains are, they are the oligarchs. If you're kind of wondering what the theme of our game is about, it might be about like rich and powerful people being a bunch of fucking assholes.
Where did you pull that from? That seems very arbitrary.
It has nothing to do with anything that exists in the real world.
Well, yeah, if I was interested before, I'm fascinated now. Great. Dude, I can't wait. That
Timothy,
sounds so
can
good.
people hire you? Like what?
They can. Hey, I am Timothy, and I'm a professional dungeon master. You can find me online. I am at XP Web Series on Twitter. You'll find everything there: the YouTube, the Discord, the Patreon. If you would like to play a game with me, you can hire me. I am at prodm.net. That's pro-dm.net. And I have, I think, like 2 slots open right now. So grab those slots before they get grabbed up because I would love to play games with y'all. You've been a wonderful chat, and I hope we get a chance to do this again sometime.
Yeah, and I want to plug both Joseph and Timothy because I've watched Timothy. I've watched your show. You can go on YouTube on the Outpost 13 stream and see those episodes and catch up on Flea and Flea's adventures, which are remarkable.
Which you can do. You know, you might be disappointed in him.
No, not
in him. Right.
You'll be disappointed in him. Yes.
In him. Yes.
At almost every turn, you're like, no.
Oh my God!
Disappointed
in the protagonist of the story, then you're not watching a good story. If you aren't at some point disappointed in the protagonist of a story,
it's
not a good story. At some point, you've got to be like, why'd you do that?
Come on, man. You have to know why they did it, but you have to be disappointed. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And just it's completely delightful, and it's such a compelling story, and you explore it so well. So Timothy, highly recommend if you want him to DM a thing, and Joseph as well. I've played a number of games with Joseph, and just what a remarkable DM. The thing that both these fellows have is a strong narrative that they bring to it, and we are all about telling stories to each other, and that's what these guys bring. So
that's so
absolutely recommend them highly. If you can get them to pay attention to you and do a game for you, do it.
It worked for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrew. This has been absolutely lovely. Thank you for arranging everything and sending us these delightful samples. Now I have to drink, I have to find a way to put oog in my life somehow.
Yeah.
Because it's too good to ignore. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was originally like, I'll have to send these back. I'm like, I'm gonna drink this. This is for me. Oog's gonna stay with me.
Yeah, no, they're there for you to.
Great. Yeah. When I first read it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, he means the bottles.
Yeah,
the bottles. I was like, okay, I make sense. It's expensive whiskey. I was like, okay. I'm like, it seems a little weird, but that's fine. No, I just don't read very well. Is I guess what it means. Yeah.
Drink half of it and then send the other half.
Yeah, I was a little bit like, bottle. Wow.
Because I want you to have the option, but if you don't drink it, give it back to me.
Give it to me. I was like,
They
Okay.
come back, and I just kind of like pour them back.
That's what I was trying to imagine. I was like, this can't be right.
Andrew
I'm
is
sorry, I
the
reread it. And
opposite
I'm
of
like,
a whiskey miser. Like he is the opposite of a whiskey miser.
he's trying to foist it on as many people as possible. Drink my whiskey, please.
Yeah, no, my
As
problem
long
is
as
I'm a
they'll drink
collector,
with him,
and
then yeah, I think.
Yeah. Right.
I wouldn't sample these things unless it was with other people, and the
Yeah.
pandemic has made it a nightmare. So I appreciate.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Anyways, we probably got to clear the channel.
Right.
Because, we got to keep this episode under 4 hours. But I invited a bunch of people to join us in the Zoom after we end the show. So we'll join you. Everybody, Sludge
Elijah.
Elijah.